Hello, guys, and welcome back to more Ghost of Tsushima spoiler discussion video with me, Travis, ya boy VTM, and we are here to talk about all of the nuggets.
All the nuggets.
All the nuggets.
Spoiler warning to put out there. Like, this video could probably be titled spoiler review and all that, or
Spoiler discussion.
It should be titled Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, because we already did Part 1. You guys should go watch that. If you still want to watch this, we're just going to talk about some of the story beats. Like, it's not our full view of the game or, like, full review of the game. It's just things that we may have liked or disliked in the game.
Yeah, there's no scores here. What are you doing? You want to score? There's a place to go for that. It's not here.
Yeah, it's down the street to your local market.
Yeah.
You find the produce area.
Yeah.
You buy a tomato.
I don't even know where you're going right now.
If that tomato's run, that's our score. It's run. This game is run. Or if it's a good tomato, this game is good. That's how we feel about this game.
In the tomato, I don't know why you went Rotten Tomatoes, that's movies, but
hey, this game is pretty like a movie, okay? And it's based off a lot of old movies.
This game is great. Anyway, so we can start. So at the beginning of the game, Jen, they're in the war.
The war is awesome.
Yeah, the war with the Mongols. I don't know why people were saying they didn't like the first few hours of the game. They thought it was slow. I don't know. They can fuck off. Because the war at the beginning is so cool, the way they do it, because they send a messenger down. I think it was a messenger. And for a second, I thought it was Jen. I'm like, did he already fucking die? But anyway, I thought he was going to literally be a ghost. And then, so they send a messenger down. He goes down, and he goes with this message, and the Khan is just like, yeah, I don't fucking care, and throws oil on him, and then just catches him on fire.
Yeah, like they're thinking about doing the honorable thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And,
honorable gets you fucked.
They want to do the honorable thing by, like, oh, send me your strongest, and I'll fuck them up. And the Khan's like, nah. Get bent, like, why? This is war.
Yeah, what is it good for?
Yeah, what is it good for? Like, what is honor good for?
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Sing it again, y'all!
Yeah, and so, like, the samurai get decimated at the beginning, and, it's all about, like, Jin trying to, like, Jin tries to do the honorable thing by showing back up to get his shit pushed in.
Yeah. But I think it's explained later that Jin, he knew he had no chance. He pretty much just didn't care about his life at that point.
Yeah, he knew that he should have died on that beach, so he wanted an honorable death.
Yeah. And instead...
And then he still didn't die. Like,
No. And you get your dick kicked in by the Khan.
And yeah, so a chick named Yuna finds him, and she's like, hey, there's more to life than, like, living an honorable life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they just and so you get those story beats of like he wants to do this, and then I think Yuna's the one that at first talks him into the unhonorable thing of, I think, stealth kills. I think that was the initial thing.
Yeah, so, like, the first thing that Yuna does is teach him that, like, it's okay to do dishonorable things if it means that you'll live, or maybe you might... It gives you another way of looking at a situation.
Yeah.
So she teaches him how to sneak around, which is something that samurai don't do. They don't sneak. So she teaches him how to sneak and kill people from behind.
Yeah.
Because again, like, that's something that samurais don't do.
Yeah, they don't sneak. Like, they face straight on.
It kind of really, like, throws Jin for a loop, because he's like, it's like a whole new world has been opened up to him. Like, because he's always been told it's bad. It's like masturbating. How your parents will tell you it's bad. And then when you try, it's like, holy shit, this is a new world.
What the fuck has just happened?
I have to liken it so people can understand, because some people don't understand.
Yeah, some people don't understand. Yeah. So as we jump into so in the middle of the game, his uncle, first off, his uncle, at first you think he was killed by the Khan, but he lived. He was held captive by the Khan because the Khan is trying to force Jen's uncle to pretty much convince his troops to join his side. I believe is what he's trying to do. And so Jen, at least in Act 1, you're trying to save, and you do save your uncle, even through dishonorable ways. And the Khan keeps telling his uncle that he's doing that, and he just doesn't believe him. So once you save him, you get to Act 2, and in Act 2, that's where you do more things, and then once you get to the end of that, that's where your uncle sees you dishonorably cutting a guy's head off, which is great.
Yeah.
Along with the ability, we didn't talk about the review because we didn't want to. What is that? Where you go red? The ghost stance.
Oh,
ghost
yeah,
stance.
The ghost stance.
Yeah. Ghost stance is awesome, and I love it.
I love the moment when you get it. Like, that is my favorite. That is also where I feel the game peaks.
Yeah. I also sat there for a little bit because I thought they were giving me a choice, and I was gonna be like, well, what if I don't cut his head off? But I didn't know it was an actual story beat for an ability. So I sat there because for a second I thought the game was giving me a choice there whether I wanted to do like be honorable or not honorable. But as I sat there for a few minutes,
I didn't even sit there. It was like kill him. It was like slaughter him. I was like, yeah, fuck the Mongols, and that's how he responded. He was like, yeah, let's get them. I was like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. I guess part of me wanted to see if it was an option.
Yeah.
But I guess it would kind of break the rest of the game if it was an option.
Because did you do that mission last for Act 2?
The cutting his head off? I think so.
Like, it would have been like armor.
I think
armor, poison.
I think that was. I think you had to do that mission last, didn't you? Because that was.
It's like one of 3 because it's like you can pick up your armor. You can go to the dock to get more men from the.
I did it last then.
Shogun, and then there's Yurikawa, which is like right in the middle.
I did it last then, yeah.
Yeah, I did it last too. So that's why I say like that's kind of where it peaked, because like it seemed like it was all leading to like a war in Yurikawa.
Yeah. Well, I think it peaked when he cut the guy's head off in front of his uncle. Because then his uncle's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then that's when he knew he was killing people dishonorably, which, he just opened the fucking door. He could have been facing him straight up before that.
Well, it's the fact that he also defied his uncle by like going and poisoning all of them.
Yeah, but that was after. Well,
So he defied his uncle, and then he killed them all dishonorably. And his uncle's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Like, we do this honorable, man."
Yeah, and then he backhanded him in the face, and Jen was just like, "You know what? Fuck you."
Well, because his uncle is like old school. He's like honor for everything. So he's and it's kind of like Khan says it at some point to like someone else. He's like, samurai are very predictable because of their honor. They're always going to face you head on, so you know where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's how Jin was thinking. He was like, "Oh, they're gonna know we're coming from this way, so they probably have a plan."
Yeah, and
his uncle was just gonna send wave after wave of people to their death, and that's exactly what would have happened. So like Jin ends up defying them because he's like, "No, like we need to think about the people. Like we can win a war, but if we don't have people to like take over this land, then what was the point of war?" Like, we're here to protect the people, not send them to their death.
And
a lot of them were like people from Yurikawa because like they wanted to follow under Jin because he was fighting for the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what turned Jin entirely was when all those people died on the bridge that they got to help him, and he turned to his uncle, and his uncle just like didn't care, like, oh well, they'll get an honorable whatever, and he's just kind of like, what the fuck? We're sending all these people to their death for no reason. We knew knew they were going to die, and you didn't care.
Yeah, it's like they aren't samurai or anything. They're just people trying to fight for their land.
Yeah.
And then, like, even after that, the uncle was going to fix the bridge and then send more people to their death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, is your honor worth all these deaths? And to Jin, it wasn't. So he did things dishonorably.
Yeah. I mean, he already saw his entire clan die in that war. He knows what's facing him head on, and then he sees more people die, and it's just like, how many people are we going to send to their deaths before we do something else?
Exactly. Like, if one man can, like, protect 100, then that's the choice he was going to make. Like, he threw away everything at the end of it. Like, at the end of the day, he threw away everything to save the people of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And like, when people are like, oh, this story isn't deep, it's like, this man gave it all away. He even gave away his one and only family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the sake of Tsushima.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was like, even though you are family, like, I can't continue doing this. Like, we're sending people to their deaths. I can't.
Exactly.
And so even if he's going through poisoning or stealth killing, it's just like, this is much better to him than facing them straight on. Because if you face, if we faced them all straight on, we kick their fucking ass. But like, in the terms of the story, facing them straight on for most everybody else that's not Jin is a suicide mission.
Yeah.
And maybe his uncle, but I don't know. I never seen his uncle. I mean, they seem to be on par with each other. Jen a little better.
Yeah.
Because as we move, so and technically, I mean, you beat Kai the Khan honorably because you face him straight up.
Yeah, you do face him straight up, and well, you can kind of be dishonorable because, like, they go from a duel style to just like regular fighting.
Yeah, which I liked because I was able
to regularly. You can use your bombs and all that.
Yeah, but it's the bombs because you're still facing them straight up. But I guess they're about hand to hand.
Well, yeah, like when you're doing the duel style, you're not allowed to use
anything
secondary
else.
Weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the duel style. But I like that they gave you that ability to go out because it takes all the stuff you upgraded throughout the game, and for us, it was everything.
Yeah.
And it allowed you to just unleash it on him.
Yeah.
And I love that. I mean, I even feel like that fight was easy, and I feel like they almost made it easy on fucking purpose, so you could just fucking pick them.
It's kind of showing like the growth in Jin from like the beginning of the game to the end. Like, oh, he's no longer, because like even at the beginning of the game, like when you first fight the Khan seems huge.
Yeah.
Right. But like when you fight him at the end, he's kind of the same size as you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're both on par with each other. Like, he's no longer this intimidating figure.
Yeah.
He's just like anyone else. He's a god who bleeds. Do you bleed? Yeah. And he does.
Yeah. I love all my abilities because then, like, I just love how I ended that fight pretty much because he just, like, caught his blade on fire. Like, my blade's fire. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I caught my blade on fire and just beat his ass.
Exactly. It's like, oh, the things you can do, I can do better.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that fight. Even though it's easy, I still love it. I love how it ends because he just like knocks all the shit out of his hands and he's just like
exactly.
And then he's like you won't be remembered or whatever. But the Khan,
yeah, he's like, my name will be remembered. I will go down in history. And he's like, no one will remember you.
Yeah. Then he cut his head
off. Like, that's such a hero line. Like, holy shit, that one-liner.
And he's right too because no one's gonna because as the Khan says, somebody else will come and rise up. Khan's not going to be remembered. They're just going to move on.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. Like, he's not like deity. I don't think he was like a deity or anything. He was just the commander. So probably nobody will remember him. But VTM had an issue with the story. VTM, you have it.
Okay, so my main issue... So, in the second act, like, getting close to the end, you go to poison all the Mongols. Because, like, after you meet a nice, sweet old lady who's taken care of Jin his whole life, pretty much, Yuriko, she gives you a recipe to make your own poison. And then she dies in the most upsetting way ever. I may have shed a tear. But, so, Jin's like, I could just use the poison and kill all these people who have taken the castle of my uncle. So that way, more people don't have to die, because my uncle's gonna throw them to their death. And the uncle says no, because one, poisoning is dishonorable, and also sneaking is dishonorable. And then Jin will also be defying a order he gave. So Jin does it anyways, because he gives no fucks. He's like, I care more about the people than I do your stupid honor. And he poisons them. And immediately after, so like, Jin is pretty much exiled from the land, and so he moves north. And all of a sudden, the Mongols have his poison. And they never once explain how they got it.
Yeah.
They just, the best explanation they give is, oh, thank you for giving us this poison. But they never explain how they figured it out.
Yeah.
And that's my main issue. It's like, like, the only other person, there's only two people in this game who know the poison. Maybe the uncle would have known it, because he probably knew Yuriko.
Yep.
But, like, that was a herbal thing that Yuriko knew, because her mother was an herbalist. So she was, in turn, an herbalist. So she knew what flowers were poisonous. So he then tells Yuna to go collect as much poison as she can, and he tells her what the name of the poison is, which is wolfsbane. And then magically, the Mongols know it. So, like, through the whole third act, they're like, oh, like, you gave us this. Like, they're pretty much blaming Jin for, like, the Mongols being able to kill more people. And I'm like, but they never explain how they got it. So I figured it was Yuna, but they never say that. Because, like I said, like, process of elimination, like, she's the only one he told the recipe to.
It's true. It's true. And maybe they are trying to try to set that up in a sequel, just kind of, you know.
But yeah, like,
but maybe not.
in our review, that's why I kind of give this game a 9, because, like, the ending seemed kind of empty compared to, like, what came before, and, like, plot points weren't expanded on, like, especially, like, when it kind of matters. Because, again, like, they make such a big deal that, like, the Mongols have poison, but they never want to explain how they got it.
Yeah, and that is kind of weird. I just gonna be like movie magic, where
movie bullshit.
Where they just knew, or they're just like, hey, we have it now.
Yeah, they were just tasting random flowers. Like, he had to have gotten that poison somehow. No one lived to see another day after this poison. But we know that they poisoned.
Taste flowers until you die.
Exactly.
Yes, the Mongols would probably do that. But
now, I will say, I was also upset with this game at a certain point.
Okay.
It was from Act 2 moving into Act 3, I think.
Oh.
Travis knows where I'm going with this.
Pony Boy.
Yeah, Pony.
Shadow.
I named him Nobu.
I named him Shadow because I was not naming him fucking Sora.
I named him Nobu because that meant trust.
What'd you name your second horse?
Shadow.
Did you? I named my first horse Shadow, and I can't remember what I named my second horse, but
yeah. I was very upset when he died. I was like, I can't believe they killed my horse.
It's such a
because he's always there, and like Jin kind of talks to the horse too, and the horse is the only one that understands the troubles he's going through.
Yeah.
And after you complete missions, he's normally hanging with the horse.
Yep.
And it's always funny, like, he's always interacting with the horse in a way. And I don't know, like, just those small interactions built so much of a bond between them for me.
Yeah.
like they didn't have to do much, but like they did a little. And it's like, I don't know. For me, the bond was there. And when he died in like the most glorious way. He took like 3 arrows,
And he's
and
4. I counted
he
him.
got him so far.
Mm-hmm.
And like he still tried to keep going, and then just eventually died. And you can go back to the grave. That's what really kills me. You can go back to the grave and bow to it, and like Ash will rise, and it's sad.
The horse, that scene, I don't know if it was the atmosphere or what, but it even looked like visually like the best cutscene in the game.
Yeah.
And almost like it was a pre-rendered cutscene, but I don't think it was.
It could have been, because they do change your clothing.
It
So
could have
like
been.
it would have been easier for them to pre-render that cutscene.
It looked like, I know it was kind of dark because you were in that like fire woods or whatever, but like it looked beautiful compared to other cutscenes. But if you're gonna pre-render a cutscene, might as well be with our boy Pony Boy.
Yeah.
Shadow. Shadow for me.
And then, boy, some of the greatest acting I feel for the game was at the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
the whole mission with your uncle at the end. Yeah. I feel like that's some of the best acting through this whole game.
Yeah.
Especially when he starts crying, like, this is such a beautiful day.
Yeah.
To spend the last day with you. It's like, whoa, that hit my heart.
Yeah.
It's like, this man is crying. This manly man is crying for his son.
Yeah. I mean, technically his son.
Yeah.
But he never accepted the paper, and then he dumped it in the fire. So.
Nah, they were father and son.
Oh, pretty much.
Even Jin was like, you will be remembered as a warrior, as a general, and as a father. And it was like,
yeah. So let's set this up for people for some reason watching the spoiler discussion, but they didn't play the game. They just want to know. So once you, you were labeled the Ghost of Tsushima, and that name is dishonorable to the Samurai Code.
Well, it's not really the name itself; it's what it stands for.
That's what I mean. They named him the Ghost, so that name in general, in turn, means that he's dishonored the Samurai Code. I mean, the name the Ghost means that he's in the shadows. That's not a samurai.
Well, they explained Yuna pretty much made it up. She was like, "Oh, he came back from the dead."
Mm-hmm.
And he's vowed to take vengeance on the Mongols, and he's willing to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah.
Whether it be killing them in their sleep or poisoning them. Yeah. So he's now the Ghost.
Yeah. But what the Ghost stands for, what he does.
Exactly. It's what the Ghost stands for.
Yeah, what he does, but he is the Ghost. There's not multiple of them.
Yeah.
So, but because of that, he was ordered by, who was he ordered by? I can't remember, to kill Jin.
He was ordered by the Shogun. Because pretty much Jin, by the end of the game, Jin had his own army. Like, the people, he pretty much swung the people over to his side instead of the Shogunate's side.
Yeah.
Because that's why they want him dead, because, like, he was such a threat.
Yeah.
And by the end of the game.
So their punishment for his uncle, was to kill him and bring his head back, I believe.
Yeah. To restore the honor of his clan and all that.
Yeah. So that in turn we have one last haiku, which I didn't even talk about in the not spoiler review. I guess haikus are spoilers.
Haikus this particular one are the saddest things in this game. Like no matter what you're reflecting on, they just sound sad. It's like I don't know. To me, this game is very sad. Like it made me feel something by the end. Like, man, those men find it out. Oh.
Yeah. But you do the haiku at the end, and then after you do that haiku, the three line poem, you fight your uncle to the death, potentially, because there is a choice at the end.
Yes.
Where you can either kill him or spare him. And both me and VTM killed him. I did it for two reasons. One, I felt like
honorable way.
It's the honorable way. I felt like even though I don't agree with the Samurai Code, I had been pretty much disrespecting his entire existence, the entire game. He asked for an honorable death. I wasn't going to take that away from him too.
Yeah, like it's almost like a way of Jin showing him that there's still a little piece of the old Jin in him that still
Mm-hmm.
has honor,
Yeah, and
while also honoring his wishes
I also
at the
feel
same
like it's a
time.
way better ending.
Yes.
I feel like it hits the tone. I feel like just the way it ended after that, him screaming, crying. I just feel like that hits way harder, whether you wanted to do it or not. I feel like it just hits way harder.
Yeah.
And I think it's a better ending. It's a more complete ending. And if they're going for a true ending and they're not giving you a choice on going into the next game, I feel like it'll be also be the true ending.
Yeah. Because, like, even with the other ending, like, so Yuna meets back up with Jin, and she's like, "Oh, is your uncle gonna be a problem?" And he's like, "Not right now, but we don't know in the future. Like, he could always come back."
Yeah, because and that's another thing, right? There's the giving him an honorable death is not disrespecting him one last time, but it's also protecting you because he's not going to stop even if he loves you. Like he's gonna. I mean, he tried to kill you there. Why would he stop?
Yeah.
Like just because you spared him doesn't mean he's going to spare you because in his eyes he asked to be killed in the honorable way and you wouldn't even do that for him.
Well, and even going off the possibilities, like, even if you spare him, the Shogun could see him as, like, a failure.
Mm,
So he could
die anyway.
force him to commit seppuku.
Yeah, yeah. And in that case, it's like, well, if he wants to die, if he wants an honorable death, and he doesn't really even want to go on, I would rather do it to him than have some random shogun do it, or make him do it to himself.
Yeah.
He would rather die in battle. That's what he's there for.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's the better ending. I feel like that's the right way to do it. But then again, they give you a choice for a reason. So if there was only
Yeah.
one true answer and nothing else, then I guess they wouldn't give you a choice.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who aren't like who haven't dabbled in the samurai or at least Japanese culture, like knowing a little bit about it, I feel like a lot of them would have probably chose to spare him because they
Yep.
don't know what the consequences would have been.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, I literally ignored everyone in my chat and killed them.
yeah,
Like everybody's like,
yeah.
"No, don't kill him," and I'm like, dead.
Well,
Like,
I saw someone explain it like, oh, like to some people who don't know anything about this, sparing him would be the good thing to do
mhm,
normally.
normally.
But in this case, in the Japanese culture,
Mhm.
like killing him is the better thing to do.
Yeah. It's not like and this is the only comparison I'll make. The Last of Us 2. It's the only thing I'm bringing it up. Spoilers for The Last of Us 2. If you're
Yes,
watching this, it's not as much as of an impact as say like Abby sparing Ellie because that's showing that Abby's let this go.
Ellie.
Ellie, yeah, sorry. Ellie. No, Abby. Well, no, both. I'm in the
Oh,
theater. I'm in the
yeah,
theater.
both. Oh,
Both. They both spare each other. It's not the same. It's not the same thing because that's showing that they finally let it go. This sparing him is another shit on my father or my uncle father's face.
yeah, like it, it's a good and bad thing. Like, because Jin does say like he doesn't have any honor, but he's not above killing his own family. Like, he's not gonna kill his family.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to him, it could be a good thing, but like to his uncle, it's still a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good and bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where I'm sitting, it's like I don't necessarily agree with the samurai way, but like he's so for it. I wasn't gonna take that away from him too.
And a lot of people, like, I saw people saying, like, oh, this game is, like, nothing but nationalism. It's like, yeah, but, like, it's showing, like, it's not showing that they're right, though. Like, that's the problem. Like, they're showing that the samurai way is wrong.
Mm-hmm. And it depends who you ask, right? The samurai way in Jen's mind is wrong, but if you looked at it from if you were seeing where the uncle's coming from, you'll look at it and be like, Jen's a dick.
Yeah, but, like, even showing the actions of the game, it's like, even in the game, like, they kind of put, like, because the uncle is the representation of the samurai way, and like the uncle does not do good things, especially since he doesn't care about the people of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't.
So it's like, in that retrospect, like, the samurai way is not the best way because it will lead a lot of people to their death. So
Yeah.
like, people are like, "Oh, this is just nationalism." It's like, no, it's not. Like, actually, like, the dishonorable way is the way to go. So like, they're telling you to rebel against like what's known.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people will turn anything into anything they want
I
to
know,
fuck.
but like, I saw a lot of that in some people's reviews, like, "Oh, this is just pushing nationalism." It's like, yeah, well, when you play Call of Duty,
Yeah.
what country do you fight for?
Yeah.
I'm
I.
pretty sure it starts with a U
Mhm.
and an S and an A. Like, I don't think you're fighting for Russia.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. This isn't. I mean, nationalism isn't. I mean, it can be political, but it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
But I just
And
think people.
again, like,
I.
for this style of game, that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's nationalist as fuck because
Yeah.
it's a Japanese game
Yeah. I
for
just.
samurai.
I just think
Like,
people like to find a way to talk shit any way they can at any kind of political and anything anymore. And it's just like
well, or
people
they're
don't
like, "Oh,
game.
it's not political enough." It's like, I don't know. I find it to be kind of political. I find it to be like, you can attach many things. Like,
Yeah.
again, like off recording, I kind of likened it to the whole like pandemic right now.
Hmm.
Like, the Mongols are the pandemic or the virus. Jin is like the people saying wear a mask, and the uncle's like, "Nah, I've lived this way my whole life. I don't need a mask." Like,
Hmm.
that's kind of how it is. It's like, oh, like the Mongols are wrecking shop, and Jin's like, "We could do it the dishonorable way and kill a lot of them and save our people." And the uncle's like, "Nah, I've done the samurai way my whole life. Like, we're gonna do this."
Yeah. And so it's that fine line you toe, but not everything has to be. And yeah, it is a nationalist thing,
Yeah.
but everything has to be a fucking statement. And I hate people who review games that way or talk about games that way because it's just like
No.
not everything is
Like,
pushing an agenda. Some games, Life is Strange, is pushing an agenda.
oh, fuck what? Fuck the second game.
Yeah,
Like, to hell with that.
but even the first game is pushing an agenda, but the second game pushed the agenda hard.
The second game was weird.
It pushed. I mean, I watched the final episode. It pushed
I
the
played all of it.
it pushed the border patrol pretty hard.
Oh, it pushed white people are bad, but that's a whole different game.
Yeah, that's a whole different game. I just wanted to get out there. But it's not like that where my example was that because it was pushing a political agenda down your throat.
Yeah, like, some things can push a political agenda, and some things don't have to.
Some things don't have to.
They're games.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to take it at face value.
I'm okay with characters or a group of people having a agenda in the game, but if the developers seem like they're just pushing their views down your throat, that's different.
Yeah.
It's a completely different kind of situation. This game, that's what the samurai is. To say this is nationalist, that is the fucking point.
Exactly. Like, and like, again, like, I don't know. For me, at least, I can find a lot of things in multiple games, even if the people who make it say like you're not supposed to look that deep into it. It's like, you could still like it. Like what I said. Like, I even said, like, in our in our review of the game, like, you can kind of compare this with religion too. Like, it's like, you can find a lot of similarities between the samurai way and a lot of other beliefs and all that. Like, because it's a simple thing. It's like, one thing is introduced. You have one person who's set in stone, and someone who's like, we need to change the way we look at things.
Yeah. You're
Plain and
never
simple.
you're never gonna please everyone. Everybody has this different outlook. Some people go into games looking to bitch at things.
And people giving this game bad reviews because of The Last of Us 2 are wrong. And the same for, like, I didn't look at the good reviews because I don't care much about those. I care what people have to say about the bad, like, for bad reviews. See if they actually have an argument or where they stand. But like, even on the other side, even on like the good review side, if people are reviewing this and giving this a good score because they hate The Last of Us 2, you're also wrong. Like, you need to play the game.
Yeah. Play
and
the game.
Judge it the way you like it. Like,
those two games, they came out a month apart, obviously, but these two games are not comparable in any way imaginable. Any way imaginable. Doesn't matter if you thought The Last of Us 2 was a 5. Doesn't matter if you thought it was a 10. It doesn't matter if you think the opposite of Ghost of Tsushima. These two games, the only thing they have in common is they're published by Sony, and that's it.
Yeah, like the two games are separate. You can't hate one because you like the other.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah, but
well, I never played this game, but I like The Last of Us 2, and that got hate, so I'm gonna hate on this one because everyone seems to like it. Like that's a dumb reason.
Yeah.
Play the game. Like play the game first.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about really quick some of the because we touched on the main side missions with the companions, but we never talked about. So you have Norio who went batshit by the end of it.
Oh yeah, like I said in the main review, like a lot, like the side characters reflect Jin's character a lot. Like so, Norio would be that honor-driven side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he gets a taste of the dishonorable side. So like when Norio goes crazy because his brother dies, he starts murdering a lot of people, and he starts doing it out of hate.
Yeah.
But then he starts to like it, and it's kind of like Jin, how like he had his honorable side, and then he started doing the dishonorable thing because like desperate times.
Yeah.
And then he kept doing the dishonorable thing, where like even in cutscenes he was doing more dishonorable things than honorable things.
Mm-hmm.
So like Norio's kind of like that aspect of him.
Yeah. You have Masako. Masako for a while was pissing me off because she kept killing people before I could even get anything out of the people we were questioning. I was like, Masako, you kill one more fucking person before I could ask them anything. They'd be
even Jin was like that. He was like, we need to get information out of them first before you can kill them.
Yeah, she's like they would give her like legit information, but she didn't want to believe it, so they said like one thing, and she'd be like wrong, and she would just like kill him. Like Masako, what the fuck?
Well, and like her whole family's dead. Like,
that's true, but she's trying to find out who fucking did it, and which was her sister. But like, you can't find out who did it if you murder the person the moment they open their mouth.
Exactly. They even do what I like for some games to do. They do the E3 fight. Because a lot of games, they have, like, certain games do it, like most Naughty Dog games, they will actually let you play out the E3 moment. But, like, a lot of games, they do these made-up things for E3 that you don't get to do.
Yeah.
And this game lets you do the E3 fight with Masako, and it's fucking awesome.
Because I think it's the second or third to last Masako, because there's 9 of them. I think it's the second to last. She is so driven to find. She wanted to kill this monk again without questioning him to see if he knew anything. So if she would have straight up killed him, she would have never found out it was her sister.
Exactly.
Ever.
Like.
So,
and at some point she's like, well, if you're not with me, then you're against me. She pulls the Anakin. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And he's like, Masako, don't do this. You can't be serious. And she's like, oh, I'm deadly serious. Like,
yeah. So I beat her ass.
Yeah. So you beat her ass.
Yeah. So you do a duel with Masako, and I didn't know. I mean, I knew there was one more story mission, so I knew it wasn't to the death, but I was like, shit.
I feel like out of all the character quests, though, I feel like Ishikawa is the one who like ended kind of weak.
Yeah.
Because like, it seemed like they were setting him up to be the one who was wrong.
Yeah, I thought we were going to end up having to fight him.
Exactly. Like, I felt the same way. Because, like, he was telling us, like, half-truths.
Yeah.
And not telling us everything.
But I think he was kind of just, like, blinded by his rage towards his student.
Well, his rage because he was betrayed.
He was betrayed, for sure. But in her mind, he was the one that pushed her to it, which based on what we found out, I mean, I don't think we found out all the details, but he kind of did kind of push her towards, because he was
like,
a prick.
She didn't want that life. She wanted a different life.
Yeah.
Like, she was grateful that he taught her, but like, she wanted to do something else with her life.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess
and even he kind of says it at the end, like when you talk to him, like after those missions, he's like, I wish in my life that I had someone to tell me what she had learned was that I should have focused more on family than like my art with the bow.
Yeah. And I guess after all the carnage of all the other missions, it was kind of nice to have one where it was kind of a nice ending.
Yeah.
Because Norio lost a person every mission.
Yeah.
Like Norio, for the love of God, but he had to because it set up that turn where he was tired of their shit. He's like, you know what? I keep losing people. I just lost my brother. You cut off his limbs. Fuck these people.
Yeah.
I'm done. And he just burned the entire village thing to the ground. I thought we were gonna have to fight him in like a burning.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna have to fight him too. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fight him.
I think he had
He's
too
like
much.
a teddy bear.
He had
like
too.
a teddy bear that's had a bad day.
He had too much respect for Jen to do that, though.
Yeah. Well, and like even like he kept saying like he was influenced by Jin. He's kind of like Taka in a way, like where like he saw what Jin was doing, and he was very influenced by that. Like, oh, like the ghost fights for what he believes in. Like he's willing to kill people.
We have to.
So I should be that way too. Like I should be like the ghost and do what I must.
We have to talk about Taka.
Oh, Taka. This game is sad.
Yeah. So in the middle, in Act 2, it's Act 2, right? I believe so. You get, I believe it has to be Act 2 because you're not in the snow.
Yeah, it's Act 2.
And you get knocked out, or what's his name? Because you get betrayed.
They set up a trap.
Yeah. In Act 1, you get betrayed by your, used to be best friend. What was his name? Ryuzo. And
or Ryuza.
Yeah. And so in Act 2, you have to fight him in Act 1, and then you have to fight him again. Act 2, he's the end of Act 2, I believe. No, he's not. Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Because the Khan has moved north, and Ryuza stayed behind.
Yeah, we killed him.
Yeah.
Poor guy. See that? I don't know.
Or misguided.
Yeah.
Well, and like Ryuza, he switches sides because he felt like he was never going to get the chance he always wanted to be a samurai.
Yeah.
Because he was a Ronin. So pretty much, like Ronins are like samurais in a way, but they aren't honor bound.
Yeah. They didn't give you a choice to spare or kill him because I feel like I would have been more inclined to spare him. And
I swore they gave you a choice to
spare him. Did they?
Him.
I don't think so because I would have been more inclined to spare him. And
really?
I don't. Yeah. Just because I feel like he would have actually helped. I think he realizes he fucked up. Like, I know he fought Jen. I mean, he didn't even want to fight Jen, but Jen's the one's like, no. And no, we're doing this. You betrayed me. But, like, you could tell. I think the moment he betrayed Jen, even though he knocked him out and took him there, I mean, I think he did that out of desperation. But the moment he was, like, burning those people alive, I think he realized he fucked up. But anyway. So he sets up a trap where he knocks out Jen. Jen wakes up tied to a post with Taka also tied to a post. So Khan gives a sword to Taka and says, if you kill Jen, we'll let you go. And he doesn't. He turns and tries to hit Khan. Khan's like, fuck this shit, and cuts off Taka's head and holds it up to Jen. Like, that's the moment where you're like, this guy will be murdered, right? Like, we are going to murder this man.
Yeah, exactly.
For his sins. And yeah, that whole moment where Yuna shows up and because that's her brother. Right? Yeah. And then she sees that and it's just like, oh shit. I mean, at least she didn't blame us for that death. The people tended to blame us for deaths, and I'm just like, he was dead when I got here. How is this my fault?
Exactly.
What are you yelling about? Like, he was dead when I got here. He could have been dead like an hour ago. Like, how am I supposed to save someone? Like, you're supposed to be the ghost. Yeah, well, you lost him. So,
I will say a little side note.
Yeah.
I do believe Ryuza is based off of Toshiro Mifune, who used to be an actor that acted in a lot of what was it? Name Akira Kozawa or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He used to act in a lot of his movies.
Okay.
Kurosawa, sorry, Akira Kurosawa.
Okay, so it's kind
because they have the Kurosawa mode in this game.
Mm.
But yeah, like he used to be one of the main, like one of his comeback actors that he would always get in the movie.
And I think that was a good character beat when he turned on you too, because I wasn't expecting him to turn on me.
I figured it would happen because they kept bringing up the fact that they had previously had a duel at like a tournament, and that Jin beat him, and pretty much his life has been shit since then. And I was like, oh, so you're setting up that he wants to fight Jin again and kind of get his revenge.
Yeah, but I guess we were doing so many get the people together missions at the beginning that I didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on? Is there anything we missed?
Like I kind of said in the review, this game would have been a 10 for me if they kind of slowed down in the third act and explained like where they got how they figured out the poison.
Yeah.
Because like that is a plot point and a half. Like what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Like it's such a big leap in logic. It's like, we don't like. They wouldn't even have known that he was poisoning them, would he? Would they? Because like he had just got the poison, and then they immediately went to war.
Yeah.
So like that would have been something new. So it's like, how?
How?
It's like everyone at that party died.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, how would you know? You wouldn't know. But
exactly.
But maybe they have good doctors. I don't know. But anyway, that is going to do it for Ghost of Tsushima. Thank you guys so much. If you made it to the end of both of these videos, I appreciate it. This will be in the playlist. I may separate the spoiler discussions and the normal reviews into one playlist. I haven't decided. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and then to be notified or put in the sub box when a new video goes live, whether it's playthroughs, the awkward podcast, or more reviews, as we'll be putting on more reviews, especially towards the end of the year when shit gets cray, yo.
Yeah, we got Assassin's Creed and Cyberpunk.
And more.
And then whatever else they decide to drop.
Or Avengers.
I mean, honestly, Ghost of Tsushima was all I wanted.
Hey, we pushed forward.
Like, Avengers. Yeah. Like, Jesus.
We push forward, but there'll be even more because the end of year is never. I mean, it may slow this year because it is a console year, but it doesn't seem to be slowing.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be slowing, but because I don't feel like this gen jump is as big as the last one. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will talk to you then. Bye, guys.
Peace.